all, it's Dr. Bankhead at the Struggle in Thinking Out Loud. And I'm picking up on my series from victimhood to victory. So, um, as I was preparing to go to college, in fact, I was 1 month out from leaving for college, and I was invited to a party in the neighborhood by my next door neighbors. And I asked my mom if I could go to the party, and of course, she told me I couldn't because I didn't have a written invitation. And so we were having this exchange. I was a teenager after all. You know, they're going to give you an exchange. And she said she didn't have time to hear it because she had an appointment she had to go to and she was leaving. Maybe we could discuss it when she got back. And of course, I already knew that when she came back, it was going to be too late because I didn't actually know where the party was. I was going with my neighbors. And then my mom left the house, and I went into the basement where my dad was doing his silkscreen printing. And I asked him if I could go to this party. And he said to me that I needed to discuss that with my mother. I knew that he wasn't uh, giving out permission for those kinds of things. My mother handled that, and I needed to take it up with my mother because he wasn't going to get involved. I said, okay, fine. I'd already made up in my mind that that night was going to be the last night I was going to put up with any abuse from either one of them. So I waited patiently for my mother to return home. And when my mother returned home, I then engaged her in a conversation about the party I wished to attend. Now, as an aside, I will tell you, it was already too late. The girls next door had already gone. And there was no way I could go because I didn't know where it was. But I mean, I knew of other teenagers who didn't obey their parents. They climbed out of windows or snuck out of doors. You know, I was not that child. I did what I was told. I walked on eggshells and still got beat. What do you expect? I did what I was told. But I decided that this was going to be the last night, given the fact that I was going away to college in the next month. In my mind, I was grown. I was like, I'm going away. I won't be under your control. You won't be able to tell me what to do or where to go. You better get used to it. It's only a month away. But of course, they didn't quite see it that way. And I knew they wouldn't. But baby, after 17 years of abuse, I was ready to fight back. And so, when my mother returned and I was discussing it with her, my dad had come up from the basement and he was on the main floor level. My mother was upstairs in her bedroom on the second floor. So it was a 2-story house with a basement. So we were having this exchange up in her bedroom, well, their bedroom at the time. And my dad yells up from the second floor that I need to respect my mother and that I need to stop talking back to her. Well, I was primed and I knew his triggers. So I said to him, I suggest you mind your business. I mean, after all, he was the one that told me earlier that he didn't get involved in those things. It was between me and my mother. Again, I was primed. So I said that to him, and he wasn't pleased. I knew he wouldn't be. It was a trigger. I was talking back. And so then he said to me that he didn't know why I couldn't be like some of the other girls. And I said, well, you know, the other girls are pregnant. And I knew that was going to be a trigger too. Well, he couldn't take that trigger, honey. He got up, folded up the paper, and I knew what was going to happen. He comes up the steps, and I knew what was going to happen because he couldn't wait for an essay on that one, baby. He was going to get right down and dirty with me. And that was back in the day. We were wearing bell-bottom jeans, and we were wearing thick belts. And he had nice thick belts, and my mother tried to give the goodwill, and I went in the room and I got one of those thick belts, and I met him at the top of the steps while he was taking off his belt, and I was holding up my belt. And I said, you know, for every lick you give me, I'm going to give you one. And so it ensued. He hit me, I hit him. He hit me, I hit him. Next thing you know, we're on the floor rolling back and forth. I'm rolling to hit him, and he is rolling to hit me. I'm rolling to get away, and he's rolling to get away. And the next thing I know, I hear... And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, what is this? I look up, my mother's standing in the doorway. She's crying. And I said to her, are you crying? I mean, after all, I'm the one getting hit. And she says, yes, both of you acting like children. In my mind, she castrated him that night. She called him a child. I was one. So the beating stopped. She went into her room crying. He followed behind her, and I went into my room because, hey, I wasn't going to the party. It was too late, but I knew I was never, ever going to be abused by that man again. Oh, by the way, let me tell you what he said to me as I was preparing to go to college. He decided that he was going to give me a little, I don't know, fatherly pep talk. It was the only one I actually remember ever getting from him. But anyway, he says to me, I know when you go to college that if there's a likelihood that you might have sex with someone. So I just wanted to say, I wanted to advise you that if you're going to have sex with a boy, make sure you have sex at his place because he's least likely to kill you there. What? Yeah, that was my father's fatherly advice. Anyway, this is Dr. Bankhead at the Struggle In, thinking out loud. I'll see you in the next video. I'm grateful for I am fully great.